Hey guys, today I'm bringing you something special. It's a tutorial about making less mistakes when trying to draw a particular female or male character. We will even do a little experiment, as you can probably see here. You're probably very confused, so I will try to explain the best as I can with a slow tutorial, step by step, so you can see how to erase all the probable mistakes you may have made when trying to draw a boy and then you got a girl, or vice versa. But first of all, I want to invite you to, if you live in Serbia or near Serbia, I'd like to invite you to Belgrade Chibi Con 2014, which is held in, well, Belgrade. You can see all the info on this poster and also in the description. It's going to be a 2-day anime convention in Belgrade, Serbia. It's going to have a lot of different lectures and anime screenings and cosplay meetups, Lolita meetups. It's going to be very fun and very interesting. So I suggest that if you live nearby, don't waste this opportunity. And also I'll have a little meetup. If you ever wanted to meet up with me directly, ask me questions or advices, this is your chance, because I will be on my merchandise booth at the convention from 5 to 6 p.m. on the 11th. Right after the manga workshop, so everybody who is willing can just meet up with me, ask me questions, give me suggestions maybe on what I should make next, and let's have fun. Today we will learn how to avoid mistakes that turn our male characters into female characters. A lot of you have probably, including me when I was younger, made a mistake of just not knowing how they managed to just make their female face into a male face, or vice versa. It's a thing that can really irritate you. It's something that can really piss you off when you try to make such a pretty girl and then you suddenly made it a brolita or something like that. So I'll go step by step with this little experiment and show you. You can even join in, rewind this video a couple of times and try to implement these tricks and tips into your drawing. So what I did here is I have drawn two identical faces, the same type of face shape, same type of haircut, same size of eyes, and believe it or not, no matter what some of you may say, if these are two boys or two girls, we will make them into a boy and a girl. In this particular order, I mean a girl and a boy. So, I will show you how to make distinctive female and male face, but I will start off with these same faces. Usually, these type of characters are just androgynous. They are just in the middle. They're not particularly too feminine or too masculine. If you wanted to have a really masculine guy, a man, a bishonen or whatever, this is not a template for you. This is a template for a teenage boy, like a shonen hero, like a shonen main character. So this is the most usual type of characters you will see in an anime. So I picked these out for the face shapes, so I can show you how to work with something that is so oftenly seen. And we can cover, you can even vote and send me suggestions if you want to practice some tricks on doing extra pretty manly men or extra pretty females. So don't be afraid, just send me those suggestions, wishes, and I'll try to make them into a tutorial or just work with you to make what you like. So, first of all, let's review the basic face rules. On these both of these faces, we have the androgynous middle shape for a young person. The young person has big eyes. The young person has this distinctive cross in the middle of the face. For you who don't understand why I made these two lines, this is because the eyes for young persons in this particular style are somehow in the middle of the face. So when we make a face in half, we split it in half by the height and by the width, we get the precise place where we should put the eyes. But don't forget, you need to separate the eyes from the edge of the face in both cases. Leave out a bit of space between the end of the face and the eyes. Then, trick number 2, like I shown you in the male face tutorial, between two eyes there's always one space for one eye. So it's like we have 3 eyes, but the middle one is erased. So keep that in mind. When you draw ears, a lot of anime haircuts doesn't require drawing ears, but sometimes they show. So for this type of style, you will definitely want to put your ears from little above the line that cuts the face in half, little above it, and then right down here, usually we end the ear where our nose is supposed to be. And where the nose is supposed to be is right here. When we split the face in half, we split the half that is remaining. So when we determine that spot here, that is the place where we should end our ear. Like, let me show you, like here. So a little above the face half, then to the nose. Okay, let's start with the main differences between a female and the male face. Okay, I have deliberately chosen for them to be the same, so that when you see how different they can be by just using few little tricks, you'll be really surprised. Oh, and for today's equipment, as a lot of you have asked me, and I really understand, not everybody has Copics, not everybody has multi-liners, so today's lesson will be done exclusively with HB regular pencils and a drafting pen. So don't worry, only thing you need are your pencils, an eraser, and a paper, any type of paper, not thick paper, not thin paper. Well, thin paper isn't recommendable, but a normal paper. And also don't press your pen too hard until you're really satisfied with the look and then you want to finish the drawing. So please control your hands and draw the initial lines as thin as you can. Okay, since this will be a girl, the main point about girls are their eyes. So what we want to do with the girl's eyes is make them as sparkly as possible. To make the eyes sparkly, we need to make them full of light bubbles. So we can use a big light bubble in the upper right corner of the eye, and then the important thing about eyes, we will use the same bubble at the same spot on the other eye. When we draw girls, we need to make them sparklier, so we need to put a bigger light bubble, then we need to place another smaller one right next to that one, and it's always recommendable to change the shape of the bubble, so we can use little pointy bubble and put it in the separate corner of the eye. And also, never make the bubbles of the same shape and size twice, except when you copy them from one eye to the next. Okay, the next thing we need to do when drawing eyes for a female is the thickness of the lines. One huge trick. You all, we are used to drawing eyelashes like separate lashes. No, it's not what they do in Japanese manga. What they do in Japanese manga is just use the lash line and draw it as thick as possible. But still, don't forget, when you draw the lash line itself is not the same thickness. We need to make it thicker on the outside, on the side facing the ears of the face, and then we need to make it a little bit thinner on the inner side of the face. Always try, I know it's difficult, but always try to make the face symmetrical. Even I don't get it every time. Don't be afraid, just try to exercise and get your hands really steady while drawing. Also, the trick I shown you in my last video, always use a little piece of paper underneath your hand, just to make sure you don't smudge everything, because when you do work with pencils, regular pencils, pencils tend to smudge and to make a mess. So when we do this, we need to make it really thick. Also, to make the eye shinier, we will make the edges of the pupil also thicker. It's a really interesting effect that we can get. Oh, and one more trick. The thicker you make the lash line, the more feminine the girl gets. So don't be afraid, we can even double it. Don't be afraid, she'll look more cute this way. And to just add that finishing female touch, we will add a few of the lashes on the side. We can make those also a little thicker. And we can even make them go on this side too. And the lower lash line goes in a similar pattern. We will make it a little thicker from the outside of the face and a little thinner on the inside. And to make this really pop up, we will use the light bubbles and draw them out first. They need to be clear white. Nothing needs to go over them. So try to make the light bubbles also with thicker lines, and then you take the rest of the eye, and by the rest I mean the inner darkest part, and then you color over it, but don't touch the light bubbles. So let's do that. If you have some leftover hair over the eyes, you may choose to avoid that too when coloring the eye. It's much more detailed this way if you just ignore and don't color over the hair. Okay, let's color in the remainder of the darkest parts of the eye. Now you can press your pen, but don't forget, when we continue doing our drawing, we will need to avoid smudging it. So please do this really carefully and try to hold your hands really steady. Okay, so what we have here is one female eye. It's pretty nice, it's pretty full of details, and a few more details I have already shown you in my manga eye tutorial is that every light bubble needs to have a little shadow underneath it. So let's make a little shadow under every light bubble. And And in the end, as I shown you in that tutorial, but it's always good to repeat it, we need to make the rest of the eye into a gradient. We need to make it the darkest. Black is also good if you do only pencil work. We start to make the remainder of the eye black on top by pressing the pencil the most, and then we start releasing the pressure until it has all these little shades that go up to white even, and leave this little area down here completely white. So, also don't forget, don't touch the light bubbles and don't touch the hair. If you choose so, you will get more details. And stop pressing when you're near the eye bottom. There we go. So, we have one female eye. Also, don't forget, a female eye has some more additional details around it. For example, if we do a little thin line that is parallel with the lash line, starting from here, we will get a discrete detail that looks professional. If we use another similar line and then make it into like a Y shape, we will make the indentation show on the eye. And for the last piece of advice for female eyes, the main difference between a male eye and the female eye is in the eyebrows. A lot of you draw the female eyebrows too close to the eye, and that makes it look like a man. So don't make that mistake. Use a really thin line and make it far away from the eye. Don't draw it too close to the eye, you will get a male eye. So the main difference is in the eyebrow, which is extremely thin. You can just add a little bit of it on the start to make it look fuller, and the rest of it is just a thin curvy line. Okay, let's see what else is a main characteristic of a female face. As we said, the half of the head is the place to put the eyes on. The half of that is the place where we put the nose. And mostly for cute females, the nose is usually just a tiny dot. The smaller the nose, the cuter the character. So I usually do that. I just pop a little line or a dot in there, and I'm done with drawing the nose. As for the mouth, there's a difference between male and female mouth. People usually tend to mix up, so that's another advice. Females, in Japan, it's actually a belief that a woman with smaller mouth is more beautiful. So don't make the mouth for the anime female characters too wide, or you'll get a male mouth. So let's start with that. If we had a half of the face for the eyes and half of that for the nose, we will use the remaining portion of the face and get that in half too to get the mouth. The mouth is usually so small, so delicate, that we only use a little line that we leave cut in half and get it thicker by the ends. It's the best trick for female mouth. I usually recommend that you put actually the bottom lip on that half we mentioned earlier. So here we have a female face. Small mouth, small nose, and small eyebrows that are really far away from the eyes as possible. Okay, I will finish the rest of her up in fast motion so we can begin to work on the boy. But before that, I want to give you another special trick, and that is how to shade the face. The face is really complicated to everybody who is first trying out manga for the first time. So what I usually tell to my students is, don't be afraid. The main type of shading for the face in manga comics is actually pretty easy. The most important thing is only one shade, and that one shade is right below the face. It's actually this little shade here that makes the entire face pop up. So if we use the little shadow that has the exact same shape as the beard, not the beard, how do you say this? The chin, yeah, the chin. If you put the exact same shape as the chin and transport it a little lower and then shade it completely black, you will have the only important shadow on the face. Try it out. Manga is all about making things easier to draw. Animators in Japan have always made some special tricks, some special shortcuts to make their work faster, more productive, more easier to learn. So these are the tricks I'm teaching you now. It's really not that complicated. It's just we all get excited when we want to draw a fan art of our favorite characters, and then we all get to panicking and start just losing our heads. But if you just take a minute and just observe how these characters are drawn, you will see it's nothing special. It's nothing really complicated. The complicated part is actually making something else, something that requires character design or fashion design in manga, or just the storyline. The drawing itself, it's not really complicated. So let's finish her up. Okay, so I've done the female version of the character, so now we will try to make these elements into a male character, and it's going to be a really subtle change because we will just change a few little details that will definitely transform a female face into a male face. So let's see what differences we will make this time. Okay. If you hear shooting in the background, I swear Serbia's not at war, we're just partying hard and kids are just throwing firecrackers all over the place. So don't worry, I'm not in danger and I'm not in a war-stricken country. So let's continue on. First of all, let's see what details we can switch from this face to this face and change it along the way. First of all, we have the eyebrows. As I told you, the eyebrows are the main thing right next to the mouth that separates the female from the male face. So the eyebrows this time need to be closer to the eyes and need to be thicker, a lot thicker. So think of them like little triangles that are close to the eyes, and that boys have a natural kind of smirk to them when we draw the eyebrows. So we will draw them much closer. We'll start the line right here. We can make it into a curvy line. Then we will add a thickness to the line. We'll make it really thicker than the other line. But we will make it thicker in the beginning and then make it thinner along the way. So this is the thickness we want for the guys, and this is the thickness we want for the girls. Also, here we have eyebrows that are closer, and we have eyebrows that are farther away. So let's make a double for this male eyebrow. As we said, between the eyes there should be space enough to put another eye in, but for the eyebrows it's not the same ratio, so don't worry. We just need to make a similar shape and similar thickness. We start with a thicker eyebrow and then we thin it out. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is to see how much we are going to be making difference in the eyes. We said that female eyes have thicker lash lines. We also said they have few of the lashes shown on the sides, and we said that girl eyes have a lot more light bubbles in them, and that's what we're going to do. Boys tend to have a really thinner lash line, so we will not make it as thick as on the girl. We will make it like 3 times thinner actually, and I'll use one of my HB pens, regular school pens, the most common ones you get in school, to draw out the lash line. The lash line also needs to start off thicker, then we make it thinner as we go inside to the center of the face. There. Now, some of you may put some lashes on the sides. You can choose not to. You can choose to make the boys a little more feminine or not. It's your choice. Usually, to make a boy a bit more masculine, we try to make the eye a bit more angular, like having a little angle right here, a pointy angle. So you can do that too. and you will definitely change how we perceive the eye, but it's still the same eye as we used here. It's the same shape, it's the same position on the face, it's everything like on the girl. Okay, the next thing we need to do here on the eye is just put one light bubble, and that's it. So we can say that light comes from the upper right part of the drawing and use the light bubble right there. Make the bubble a lot smaller than the main eye bubble on the female eye. So don't try to make it this big, or it will definitely tend to make him look like he's a crybaby or something. And if you don't want that, so just put the little light bubble on here. You can do the same what you did with the girl. You can use the light bubble and draw it with the thicker line. Also, you can use the same trick with the girl, we did with the girl, and make the edge of the eye also a bit thicker. Not too much, but this makes the eye look more alive. It looks more interesting this way. And don't forget to fill in the middle of the eye. Also, you can choose if you want or not to fill it in and avoid the hair. You can avoid the hair if you want, but if you don't want, it's okay too. Play with those little details, you will get a lot of different results. Just fill it in and press your pen as much as you can when you do these dark areas. Okay, so the last thing we need to do for the guys is the same thing we did for the girls. Let's make a gradient. Let's start the top of the eye with pure black, with a lot of pressure on the pen. Try not to break the paper. Then we need to release the pressure bit by bit, avoid the hair, and just releasing the pressure as much as we can here and at the bottom. Do the same right here. Let's make it black. Then reduce the pressure as much as we can and leave a little white area on the bottom. If you look a little back, if you raise your head and take a look at the eye, you may find it's not consistent. Like the left part of the eye has the gradient really higher up, and the right part of the eye has a lower gradient. So try to make it into something that is similar. Always go back to your drawing many times. Recently I heard one of my students mention something that is really useful. When you are confused by your own drawings and when you're young and beginning manga, it happens a lot. So when you go away from your drawing for a bit and return, I don't know, an hour later, things will settle down in your brain, and you will definitely see the drawing more clearly and find your own mistakes and be your own master by removing those mistakes and learning from them. Don't ever let your anger or frustration by not doing the perfect work get the best of you. So just chill out, go get a new episode of a new TV show or something, and then come back to your drawing and everything will be fine. Your brain will settle and you will know where your mistake was and correct it. So the last thing we need to switch from this face to this face are these little lines. They still do exist, so please draw them on top of your eyes to make this perfect finishing touch. Use the little thin line that is parallel with the lash line. Start it here and go up to the middle of the eye. Then do a little one next to it and just cut it a bit to get a Y shape. And voila, we have a male eye. It's quite different, especially if we use our pencil to show you how the thicker eyelash is closer to the eye. So we have quite the similarities, but still it is quite clear that we have a male eye and a male eyebrow and a female eye with a female eyebrow. The next thing we need to take care of is the nose. With these characters you can always use this little button nose if you like, or if you want to make a different type of nose, you're always welcome. Male characters are really distinctive, and different styles make the shonen characters have different noses. So what I usually do with male characters is give them a little different nose than the female character. As we said, on the point where we have to place our nose, I usually just put two little lines. Two little lines that are really barely visible, they're really close, and they represent the nostrils. That makes this guy a little more realistic, but just a little bit. And the last part of the male face that is really characteristic, and people tend to forget that, is the mouth. As we said, if you use the length from the top of the nose to the chin and cut it in half, you will get the perfect position for male mouth. Male mouth is a bit lower than the female mouth, and it's really wide. It's like almost double as wide as the female mouth. So don't be afraid to put wider mouths. Of course, this is just representation. It's not really that good for the character if you just make one straight line. It's kind of blank. So what you want to do is use the mouth to maybe make an expression. If you make a smile, if you make a grin, it's your choice. But when you draw a poker face for a male person, try to start the line with a little thicker bit here. Then use what I did with the female face. Then make the line thinner. And then stop the line. Just erase the middle of the line. Then do the same on the opposite direction. Just start the line from this part and make it thicker. Then make it thinner. And after we do this, we can just make another line under here. Lots of different styles make lots of different shapes of ears, mouths, eyes. I'm just showing you the type I like to use the most. So take a look at our female face and take a look at our forming male face, and don't forget to tell me what you think. Also, one more thing, don't forget to add the main shadow. And what I did here with this black strands of hair is demonstrate how Japanese use the shadows in an unrealistic way to shade manga. They usually just cover it all in black if it's a little bit distant or covered with ears or something similar. I will definitely show you more of these shading tricks in the future, but before that, let's finish this little bad boy. here we go, guys. We used two identical faces, switched around with a few of details. I taught you all the little details that you can use to prevent yourself from making a mistake while drawing a boy or a girl. So from two distinctive faces that were identical, we made two completely different characters. Sorry for the camera twitches. So, thank you for being there with me through this tutorial. I hope you liked it. I hope you learned something new, and I just wanted to make a final announcement for this video, which is a pretty big deal. I have just recently signed a contract to make a how to draw manga book of my own, and in a year or so I hope all of you will get all the premium knowledge from me, from the heart, as soon as possible, and I hope that you will that we will be in this hype together, counting down the time until the book is out. And I really thank all of you for reaching an amount of almost 8,000 people on my channel, and I'm truly grateful for you all, for all your attention. And please don't be afraid to ask for any advices, and I hope to hear you soon, and we'll see each other on our next episode next Wednesday. See you all!